You guys ready?
Yeah, dude.
This?
Let's do it.
All right.
Do it.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So good evening, everyone. Good night. Actually, what costume are we even playing on? I don't even know that.
You will be playing with the alternate costume.
All right, so we have to start that over. I'm sorry, guys. I guess that was important information. So I'll do a shortcut down this time. All right, so are you ready?
Restart.
What? No, they didn't tell me what costume I was going on, so I had to recheck it. My bad. Very good. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
All right. So good evening, everyone. My name is JTB, and tonight I'm going to be doing a new game professional mode speedrun of Resident Evil 4. Behind me, I have my fellow RE4 speedrunners, and they can go ahead and introduce themselves now.
My name is Sleepwalker.
I'm Extreme Lampshade.
And I'm Audie.
And as I said, we're going to be doing a new game professional mode. New game means that essentially we're not having any preloaded inventory. We only go through what the game gives us, so we're not going to see any special weapons or anything like that. Additionally, we're going to be playing on professional mode, which is the highest difficulty of the game. So that essentially means that the Gonados, which are the enemies of this game, they're very hostile. They have a lot more aggressive patterns that we'll be pointing out. They have a lot more health, and they also do a lot more damage. Essentially, throughout this entire speedrun, I should never get hit. So if I do, it's simply because I just didn't account for an enemy's pattern or anything like that. So it makes for a really fun run, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. Here we are coming up on probably one of the first hard parts of the game for anyone who's never played this, or anyone who's ever played this before. I'm going to go ahead and let Sleepwalker talk about this part.
So this is the village sequence. You'll see JTB walk in here, and he's going to gun down 2 of these Ganados, and that's going to trigger a cutscene that's going to spawn the next wave of Ganados. And to finish this village section, you need to kill enough Ganados or wait out the timer. And there's a cutscene that the second character, Ada, will come to save Leon. So right now he's using the first grenade that he got from the crow earlier. That's killing the first wave. Going to pick up the shotgun and the second frag grenade. And he's going to do a very precise grenade toss out the window here. And that's going to kill the second wave of Ganados. If it goes right,
Nice.
that's village.
So Village is a little bit tricky because, like I said, you have to kill a certain amount of Gondo in order to trigger that cutscene to get out. There's a few different strats that we do, and there's always just the off chance that one of them will be out of place and not die to that grenade, so I'm kind of glad I got that there. So you saw I did pick up those 2 grenades and the shotgun already. A big part of this run is simply item management. We know exactly what items we need to get through this entire game, the bare minimum of items we need. So you're going to see me pick up certain items, certain treasures that we'll go ahead and sell to the merchant throughout the run to pick up even more stuff. So that's kind of like the strategy part of this run, just knowing what you need to pick up and what each room has to offer. This part's pretty straightforward, so if there are any donations, you can definitely go ahead and say a couple of them right now.
Sure thing. Let's start it out with a little bit of hype. For $50 from Anonymous, it says, let's get some RE4 up in this house.
Come on, clap those hands.
You guys almost left me hanging there. We have $50 from Scarlet 4 that says, keep up the great work. 2nd year watching. Well, welcome back, Scarlet.
So here we are at, that's bad.
Early dynamite.
Yeah, so I was going to talk a little bit about that later, so I guess I'll go ahead and start now. Big part of this game is knowing, all these actions that these enemies can take and, being able to react accordingly to them. Unfortunately, what he did right there was something that you almost never see, throwing that dynamite before he even saw me. Typically, it doesn't hurt you at all since you're far enough past it, but it just adds extra time when you're only 3 minutes into the run, which pretty much just warrants a reset at that point. But now we are in 1-2, another really short village chapter. Just going back to also, the ways that enemies react to you. This is a really, great example of the random factor of the speed run. Throughout this area, especially this little house right here, there's a lot of different areas that these enemies can spawn, as well as walk to as you enter the area. So we're going to see what they're like right now once I jump down here. Turn this corner, and what do we got? All right, got normal pattern, even though I completely missed that. So there's a chance there can be like a lot of enemies just hanging out on that bridge for whatever reason. Thankfully, it didn't happen right there, but that can cause a problem, especially early on when you don't have any special, any extra weapons, no heals. A lot of the village is just not taking any free damage like I'm doing right there.
One of the reasons they play on professional, not normal, is because the difficulty, which is a dynamic part of the game, it's in the background. You don't really know about it unless you've played it as much as we have. The enemies are easy to predict because they're more aggressive, because the difficulty is higher. And so you can try to make them attack you when you want them to, but as we just saw, even though we know how they're supposed to react, they can still be very, very random.
Right.
And yeah.
So sorry, go ahead.
I'll say that's why he was having trouble there with the people attacking him, even though they weren't supposed to be.
So this game is divided into 3 different areas, the first one being the village, and this is a good example of why the village is awful. This game is very punishing early on because you don't have any extra items, no heals, so pretty much any one mistake is a reset. Fortunately, I'll go be able to heal right here so I can stop looking like a complete scrub. But yeah, the village is really difficult just because there's just so many things that can happen. You can't really just go in saying, okay, I know this is going to happen, this is how to react to it. You just have to be ready for everything. So that's the main difficulty of the village area. Now, as we get to the other areas of the game, I'll kind of talk to you guys about that.
If you're wondering why he jumped over the barrier and wasn't phased at all, there are things called God frames in this game where doing certain actions like jumping over barriers, opening certain doors, you're actually invincible for a little bit. And so we abuse that a lot in this run.
So there's a lot of puzzles in this game, and you're going to see that as difficult as they may seem, usually they're extremely easy like that, just doing one or two rotations to get through. But now we're in 1-3, which is one of the most recent chapters in the speed run, simply due to a boss that we're going to see at the very end. But it's going to take a while before we get to him. So if there are any extra donations now, this would be a good time to read them out.
Sure. We have one from Sunblade for $50.
Sunblade.
Hey there, Sunblade here. I hope you guys enjoy your time together and have fun at SGDQ 2015. I am proud that this game and its lovely community made it this far, and I hope that we will get a chance to meet each other someday. Best of luck to Ryan. Keep rockin'. Cheers from Robert.
Thanks a lot, Sunblade. For the guys who don't know, Sunblade is one of the best New Game Plus runners for this game, and he's also the one that did Resident Evil 4 last year at SGDQ 2014. Fortunately, he was not able to attend this year, but he's definitely a big community member, and we're really glad to be all really friendly to each other and stuff. So we are in 1-3. Picking up one extra treasure here. We're going to actually encounter our first merchant that we're going to actually talk to instead of just skipping, since he is on the way that we need to take anyway, so we just go ahead and talk to him now. Let me get this done.
What are you selling? What are you buying?
All right, good. So another big part of the speedrun, item management, that's one thing, picking up the items that you need. Another thing is actually having them at the correct places throughout the run. Items, they're supposed to kind of like put themselves in your inventory pretty smartly, but they don't. They typically just get all out of order. So we have a clear idea of, where, each item should be. That way we can easily access them. We're not just, opening the inventory, going in and like, all right, where's my rocket launcher? Where's my grenade? Just spending extra time there. And that's one of the biggest things that you actually lose a lot of time on when you first start running this game, just not knowing where items are at. So I have a very set, pattern where I have all my my items down throughout this run. Typically, I have all my weapons down the left side of my inventory, all my grenades on the right, all my ammo on the top, and then just herbs wherever. So that's how it is right now. That'll change up a lot once we start talking to the merchant more and just completely revamping our inventory. That's where you're going to see a little bit about right now. Crow. Coming up at the end, almost to the end of 1-3. Got to do a little another boulder chase sequence. Why this is in the game, I don't know. Like, they decided one day, like, all right, we're making it like a survival horror, third-person shooter. Let's have a boulder chase the main character, because why not?
Maybe someone got lazy.
There's a lot of stuff throughout this game that's really questionable. As how did someone come? We're assuming that there's like a drunk intern one day. It just came out like, oh, let's do this. And Shinji Mikami was like not in office, so he wasn't able to deny it. But this game, by the way, is not realistic in any way, if any of you guys were wondering.
So you'll see JTB coming up on another boss here. We should go over some of the nicknames we have for. Well, his real name is Del Lago. So there's Trollago. Sometimes we call him Magikarp.
Magikarp.
Nemo.
Run Killer is a
Run
pretty
Killer.
common one.
I
Certain
didn't like
words
this
we
run.
probably can't say on
Yeah.
stream either. My favorite is, I didn't really like this run anyways. But yeah, this is going to be the first boss of the game. Kind of a unique mechanic because we're riding in a boat and we have to kill him using harpoons. But we have a pretty set strategy on how we're going to go ahead and do this, and I'll let you guys talk about it.
All right, so when we first started really doing this game, we thought it was completely random, but after we played it enough, we realized you can manipulate his actions and movement based on your movement, which you can just tell he got the Waka to do what he wanted because the correct actions can make him go in a certain pattern. And so the first half of this boss fight is very set in stone. As you can tell, he knows exactly what to do. Even so, he can still be very random and, just dive whenever he wants. But the second part it's a pretty RNG based. You really have no idea where he's going to go. But he's getting a pretty good pattern here. You need 12 hits on professional, and he's gotten, 10 so far?
I think he missed the 6th.
Yeah, I think I might have missed one. Went
Okay,
right
so he's
over him.
9 so far.
But you'll still die on this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can usually get 3 hits in this hard. You can get 4 if you're frame perfect, but it's very, very tough.
Yeah, you should die right here. All right.
So that was actually a really good Del Lago. Really, really good.
So, we talk about how he's a run killer and stuff. Those dives add a lot of time when you have no way to control them. There's a possibility you could have dived really early, adding on a free 30 seconds for something you just have absolutely no control over. So that makes that boss essentially like the first gatekeeper of the run. There's a lot of areas that you have to bypass before you actually know if you have a run or not. And that's the first one you're going to see, especially 10 minutes into the run, adding on like 30 seconds, 40 seconds over something like that. There's no reason to stay on. So fortunately, that one wasn't too bad of a pattern. I probably would have kept going with that kind of pattern, to be honest. But there are way worse ones that I actually got right before this. I'm glad that didn't happen. So we are coming up on the first glitch of the game. Actually, first I'm going to go ahead and shoot these down. Oh, I have an egg. I didn't realize that. But yeah, we're coming up on the first glitch of the game. Go ahead and let Audie talk a little bit about that.
All right, so there's actually a lot of out-of-bounds glitches in RE4, but there's only about, 3 or 4 that we use for speedrunning. A lot of them are just for fun. This one's called the waterfall skip. Basically what's going to happen is he's going to come up here and hit a switch, which will deactivate the waterfall, and this is just a safety precaution because it gives you a checkpoint. The problem with this glitch is you can actually fall through the map and soft lock the game like that. And this goes on forever. The only way to get away from it is to restart the checkpoint. If you didn't have that checkpoint there, though, you'd start all the way back at the map. But now, if you do it right, like this, you get to walk on water and then walk through walls. This will actually save you about 11 seconds in a run. It's not a huge time save, but it does make a difference. And it's pretty cool looking.
So like I say, there's a lot of it like that in this game. Only a few of them are actually usable in a speed run. And you can literally just walk anywhere. You can walk to the very edge of the map. You can do whatever you want. That one's probably the smallest skip, just because we're just running into a cave that normally take like an extra 10 seconds to go into. But it looks cool. It adds time. We're going to do it. Almost to the second boss of the game, and definitely you guys want to pay attention to this boss because it's probably the hardest boss that Capcom has ever made in any of their games.
Very technical fight right here.
Very technical fight.
Watch closely.
All right, so we got through the second boss. No issues.
Okay, new enemy coming up here. It's the Plagas dog, the Colmillos. We like to call it the Franker. We have nicknames for every enemy in this. These are the Frankerz's.
Frankerzy hype.
We'll see them right here. They're actually very easy to dodge. You just have to not walk right at them, and they'll kind of jump past you.
If there are any donations, I know I'm going to be talking a lot coming up, so this would probably be a good time to squeeze in a few.
Perfect. We have a bunch of them rolling in right now. We have $20 from the Doctor 501, who says, "So the U.S. is doing worse than I thought. President's daughter gets kidnapped, so they send one agent with some drugs and a handgun to save her. Don't worry, though. At least a mysterious stranger will sell you guns, but no ammo. Best of luck on your run, JTV."
Thanks a lot, Chris.
We have $100 from Ardbug that just says, "Loving it." And $50 from Danendorf that says, "Love you guys for doing this wonderful event."
Thanks a lot, guys. All right, so I'm going to talk about Ashley, our good friend Ashley
part of the
here.
game.
So in the game, Ashley is the president's daughter, and the main reason for this game is that we need to go to this country and rescue her. Essentially, Ashley adds a whole new layer of difficulty to this game, and it's just a huge thorn on our side during the speed run. So Ashley does nothing but point out really useful information, such as shooting explosive barrels on a wagon. She likes to hide from enemies. Anytime anyone comes close to her, she'll just sit there and hide, because why not run to the person that's going to protect her? And she dies really easily. So she's a huge pain in the butt. We have to take a lot of precautions to make sure that she's not getting caught on enemies, especially ones that are just laying on the ground, because those guys are like the ultimate threat, just sprawled out on the ground. She has to sit there and just like check up on them or something.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? What's going on? But yeah, she's a real just pain in the butt. She does have one useful thing here. Oops, my bad. The ability to have her wait and follow. I'm going to do it right here.
Wait, follow me.
And this actually alerts the enemies that are within range to Leon's presence, even if they don't see Leon just yet. So I did it right there to alert that pitchfork guy to start running down the path at me so I can easily run past him, rather than having one of the other Gonado run at me, which would make it a lot harder to get through. So that's like the one thing she has going on for her. Everything else, just remove her from the game. Like, no one will miss her. Almost to what we would call the second gatekeeper of the speedrun, which is going to be the cabin fight. The way for Ashley, though.
For anyone that's played this game, you know what the cabin is, and it is not fun.
First, we have to get there. All right, come on, Ashley. All right. So there's some areas that we actually don't even need Ashley with us to continue on. This is one of those areas. So we just leave her at the entrance. Does nothing, but it makes us feel better. All right, so now we're at the cabin fight. Stuck in here in this cabin with our good friend Lewis, which we're actually never going to see because we skip every cutscene in the game. Basically, to get through this fight, we need to kill a total of 40 Gonado. Oh, come on. I didn't hear that. I need to kill a total of 40 Gonado to trigger a cutscene, which causes us to load the next chapter. We do this by primarily just grouping them all up as much as we can and using the grenades we've been collecting throughout this run to quickly dispose of them and then get on with getting the 40 kills as quickly as we can. So this first part is actually pretty straightforward. Just collecting everything up here while we're getting in here. So the first random factor of this fight is going to be our good friend Lewis. He's trying to help, but when he's shooting all these enemies, he's keeping them all outside, which means they're not going to get hit by a grenade. So huge random part of it is where he's standing at the bottom, if he's keeping Gondo from coming inside, and that can add a lot of time because we want to kill as many as we can with just one grenade. There was not an awful position, but if he is in a bad position, we'll just go ahead and knife him a couple times to get him just hanging around a bit while other Gondos get inside. Oh no. So that's the first random part of this game, or this fight. The second one are these Plagas right here. So these Plagas are the parasite in the game that are trolling the villagers, and they are awful. Basically, these guys can be running at you, and as soon as you shoot them, they'll just instantly turn to Plagas like that. There's a chance they could just keep running at you, run behind you, kill you instantly. So that's 3 minutes lost because it's something you can't control. They cannot die. They can add when they don't die, it means you're not going to be killing as many. It's just going to add way more time to this timer. Usually it takes about 2 minutes to get through the cabin, a really good cabin. But you can go upwards to like 3 minutes if you have a really bad pattern. That one didn't seem too bad, so I'm pretty happy with that. But those guys, they can just run right behind you. That way they're just out of sight, and they'll just kill you without a second guess. So lost my fair share of runs to that fight, but fortunately they are being pretty nice tonight, so I'm glad for that. Now we are in 2-3. Yeah, 2-3, the last chapter of the village. Oops, I don't want to run up there. I want to run away from this guy. You see, we're running away from another Gigante. The only Gigante that we actually killed was the one with the rocket launcher earlier. All the other ones were able to skip or just completely run away. What's he going to do right here? All right, nice, he stopped. So what I did there was actually have Ashley stop in a certain spot, which made Gigante think that we were close to the gate. And when he does that, he'll just smash the gate, take a few seconds to sit there and smash it, rather than just straight up running through. We don't want him to do that because we need to enter those cabins and enter get a few items to get to this next area. So if he's just running through, he's just going to straight up just stomp on us. And of course, we don't want that. But he was pretty nice there too. This run's actually treating me pretty well, with the exception of what happened in 1-2, which is pretty rare. Honestly, we reset a lot in the village, so I'm pretty happy with this going so far. Next part is pretty boring. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, but this is a good part for donations.
Sure, we still have a bunch of them left here for me to read, so we'll burn through a couple of them now. We have $50 from LBK that says, "Good luck, JTB. Get 'em. Hi, 502. We have $50 from Jeff Oram that says, "Great job, everyone. Glad I could catch the RE4 run. It's one of my favorite games of all time." We also have a challenge here from Joshua VV for you, JTB. It's $50 and says, "I have put almost 1,000 hours into this game, but have never ever ran it. Inspire me."
All right, we'll do it for you. So you guys, I know a lot of people, there's 2 different costumes in this game. But unfortunately we're doing...
Don't forget the other guy.
Oh yeah, there is one more guy. Hello there.
That would have been bad.
So we have 2 costumes here. Unfortunately, we're doing costume 1, and the normal costume has something special, but you guys don't get to see it tonight, unfortunately. Instead, I'd like to point out the wonderful textures that Capcom has for this game. You can really see the pixels on those chains. So thank you for this HD release, Capcom.
HD.
Anyways, we're almost to the end of 5-. Sorry, not 5-4. Yeah, I'm sorry. We still have like an hour and a half on this run. By the way, we're at the end of the game. End of 2-3, which is, and then we're going to go into the castle segment. But first, we have to go ahead and kill the last boss of the village segment. Let's go ahead and get to him first before I start talking about him.
So yeah, aside from the monsters, the first 2 chapters in the village, at least they could happen if there were monsters. It might make a little bit of sense. After this, though, the game just goes off the rails and just abandons all reason. And you'll see that coming up.
So here we are at the last boss of the village segment. Mendez, or most people like to call him the Big Cheese. If the Big Cheese was a Pokemon, he'd be a grass ice type because this guy does not like fire. So we go ahead and we only use incendiary grenades, as well as our knife to... Oh, no, that's not good. Don't stagger me, please. All right, good. Yeah, we only use incendiary grenades to kill him. For whatever reason, he just has this really big weakness to those fire grenades. So it makes us really easy fight. Normally he'd be chasing you around and he's just like invincible. slowly walking in. Kind of like what we see with like Tyrant and the last run, but there, those incendiary grenades just are a godsend. So every boss fight kind of has like a really unique mechanic, with the exception of that El Gigante fight. That's the only fight that we just cheese out and use a rocket launcher. But every other fight has kind of a unique mechanic to get past. Every fight's different. So that one we saw, collecting all these grenades just to use there. Speaking of grenades, we'll collect them at any point in the run if they are the most accessible one. So there's like a grenade I'll pick up in a couple chapters that we won't even use to the very end of the game. So you see a lot of stuff, you're wondering, okay, why is he picking this up if he's not using anything? Everything has their spot throughout this run. So you will be seeing, everything being used. Just about at the end of the chapter, then we'll be going to the castle segment. If there are any donations now, that'd be a good time.
We have $10 from Anonymous. It says, shout out to one of my best friends from high school, Audi. We played multiple games throughout the years, and I've always wanted to play League, but I guess I have to be happy that you found success in your own path. Love and miss you, man. Great content for a great cause. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Wait.
So speaking of why this game makes no sense, we have this truck just came out of nowhere. It's going to try to chase. Oh, nice. Okay, so now we're going to be playing some Doom. So those trucks, you actually only need to kill the driver there. You don't even need to destroy the truck because they'll just automatically catch on fire. Why that happens, it's beyond me, but it saves us ammo, and that's pretty nice. But, all right, we actually don't care about Ashley there because we can just go ahead and get to the next area without her. So we'll leave her behind a lot. I don't want to say. We'll leave her behind a lot, kind of just make us feel better about all the troubles that she causes us. But yeah, that was the village segment. Go ahead and do this first because it's a little bit concentration.
What are you buying?
All right, cool. All right, so that's menuing right there. Just quickly selling everything, buying everything. Usually we have pretty much everything memorized on where it's at in the merchant, so we could just quickly scroll to it. But anyways, like I said, now we're on to the castle segment of the game. Every area has its own unique challenges. The challenge of the castle is just how random it can be. So, and we're going to actually see that just because of some enemies that are going to be introduced during the castle segment, which we'll talk about once we get closer. But I'll talk about a little bit about the weapons that we just purchased. So you just saw me snipe that guy pretty far away with the semi-automatic rifle. Rifle is really useful because it has a really high damage output, and because of that, pretty much every enemy in the game will die with a single headshot, which, like I said, is going to be very useful for later on in the run, especially when we get to the infamous water hall in a little bit. So every weapon serves some sort of use. We'll see it used in different ways, and talk a little bit about each one as I get to it. So this area, we have to go ahead and raise this cannon up to shoot down that wall. Whenever we use this cannon, it actually despawns all the enemies in the area, including ones that are picking up on Ashley, unfortunately. So she does have to come back to us.
Darn.
But we're able to leave her there, and then we'll have her run to us. That way, if any Gonado are currently running up to Leon, they'll grab her instead, giving us a few extra seconds to go ahead and turn that crank. So we use her a lot as human bait. Most of the time, it turns out pretty well. But yeah, that's that. So I just ran out of there and ran back into the room. Might be wondering about that. Whenever you re-enter a room, all the enemies inside actually just reset their positions. So even though they all saw me up there when I originally ran up to collect this key item, that means that as soon as I exit, they're just all back up there and wondering where I went, and they're just going to go back to playing cards or something up there. So we use that a lot throughout this run just to make it a lot easier to get through some of these rooms. And that's just one example of that. So if there are any donations now, we're going to be talking a lot coming up, so definitely get them out of the way right now.
Yeah, let me burn through about 4 or 5 real quick if I can. I have $50 from Gabriel J. that says, thanks muchly for this fantastic RE4 run. We have $100 from Jill Sandwich that says, I finally get to see a Games Done Quick event live. I had to make my first donation during one of my favorite game series, Resident Evil. Good luck on your runs, and we've got to stop Umbrella.
Definitely agree with that.
$30 from Ryan235 that says, Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game of all time, and I'm glad to see you returning again for GDQ. Keep up the awesome work, everyone, and let's keep donating. $30 from John B that says, Resident Evil 4 is one of the best games ever, in my opinion. I'm so glad to see it being played in support of charity.
All right, so now we're coming up on a little mini boss right here. We call him the Godor, but if you looked at him, you'd probably call him like Wolverine or something because he has these huge metal claws that come out of him. I'll actually let one of the guys behind me talk a little bit about this fight.
Yeah, you'll see him using the semi-auto rifle again here. The Garador has a Plagas on his back that you'll see JTB firing at. He needs to stagger the shots in order to kind of stun the Garador. And all he needs is 4 Plagas shots and then 1 shot anywhere on the body. So you saw him finish him off with a leg shot, and it's just easier to hit him in the leg than firing in the Plagas for the 5th time.
And the reason why he acts like that, in the game, he's supposed to be blind. So he reacts to where you're at, when he first, gets out of that position when he's coming out off the wall. So as long as we don't move and we just keep shooting him, he just keeps turning his back to us and just giving us free shots. Now we're on to the water hall, which is probably one of the hardest areas in the game, as well as the hardest area to actually learn, just because there's just so many things that happen in this room. And you actually spend like 5 minutes in this room. I believe you're going to talk about that? All right, I'm going to let Lampshade talk about this room.
So in this room, what you saw him do first was shoot. He killed the 2 guys on the far right of the people that spawned in the middle of the room. The reason he did that was because they would, if he didn't, they would try to grab Ashley and take her away, and they would also be alerted later on when he re-enters this room later to reset the positions of the enemies. He also shot the archers that were shooting at him because if he hadn't, they would be causing him trouble for the entirety of the room, which he just said could take, upwards of 5 minutes. And so that would, it could really...
on right now, by the way.
Oh, it's, you can see, what happened was one of the enemies picked up Ashley, and that's something it can just happen or it cannot happen. You really can't predict what's going to happen for the most part.
So instead, I get to show why we like the TMP so much. So the TMP, we're able to quickly shoot enemies in the head and abuse our God frames to quickly clear areas or enemies out of the way. All right. So what happened was that Ashley got picked up by someone that should not have picked her up. I don't know why that guy was so far to the right, but just another one of those random factors of the castle that can cause a reset. But we're able to get through, fortunately, just letting them carry up Ashley all the way to us and then just collect her and then go back out of the room. So that's another one of those room resets I talked about. Now all enemies are reset, which let me do this crank really easily.
Because he killed those 2 guys on the far right, he could walk around the far right side of the 2 little ponds, I guess they are, and they didn't point at him, which they would do otherwise, and so he's free to just walk by them; they won't notice him. And you can run past these guys coming down the stairs, but it can be very risky, and so it's really much safer to just use a stun grenade. And up here, what you're going to see him do is switch to the TMP. The rifle, yeah. Rifle, he's going to reload and have Ashley follow him, so he's going to reload during the cutscene. And then he's going to restart from checkpoint, which will despawn all the enemies down the stairs, and so he can have much easier time in this whole area.
All right, so now if anyone has any Call of Duty or Halo teams that are looking for someone who knows how to snipe, and let me show you my resume right now. So this is the main reason why we pick up this rifle earlier in the run.
What did he quick scope?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, baby, a double.
And 7.
All right, so that's the main reason why we use that rifle. It's actually a lot harder because we're playing on a controller, and I'm sure you guys know what it's like aiming on a controller rather than a mouse keyboard. There's a chance that we can miss a couple of them, which isn't a big deal since we can pick up extra rifle. Oh, hello.
Ooh.
This guy is all right, not playing up with anything that's going on here. But yeah, go ahead and we kill those guys just because those are the ones that are going to try to pick up Ashley. There's actually one other one that we'll go ahead and get out of the way.
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt,
Because
right
he just
here.
runs for some reason.
All right, now he's not running.
If you hit him once, he'll walk. He's lost his spirit, I guess. He doesn't care anymore.
But yeah, all those enemies would have been ones that tried to pick up Ashley, so we just take them out right at the start. So that way we can just run around this room, do whatever we want for a few minutes. Now, talking about this room, like I said, earlier you saw me run out of the room and run back in. There's actually a different shot that we'll do on GameCube that involves him staying inside the room the entire time with all those enemies and using a bunch of flash grenades to use that crank to get to this area while they're all converging on him. So that makes it like this is probably the hardest room in the game on GameCube, just because of how random it is. Every enemy can be in a different spot. You just have to react, really quickly to everything. But fortunately on Steam, the main appeal of the Steam version is that it essentially has no load times. So we can use stuff like that without losing time and just make what would be a really difficult room just otherwise just trivial. And now we are almost out of this room and on to the wonderful 3-2. So if there's any donations, we could probably get a couple in right now.
Cool. We have a good one here. $50 from 5 pages. Good luck, Ryan. You've come a long way since you first started playing Super Mario. From the two people who've been your fans the longest, Mom and Dad.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Aw. $20 from Anonymous. Loving this RE4 run. I've played RE4 on every system it's been released on and have never done a speedrun. Happy to know that the RE4 speedrunning community is supporting such a good cause.
So here we are in 3-2, and I talked about how random the castle is. It's because of these enemies right here. And I'm going to let Sleepwalker talk about them because I need my fully concentrate on these buggers.
Yeah, this area we like to name the first layer of hell. It is filled with these enemies called the Novistador, and they are the epitome of unpredictable. You'll see him moving his camera to the left or right, just kind of looking away from them to try to trick the game into thinking they are off screen. And the game kind of takes it easy on you. If the Novistador is off screen, they have a lower chance of doing a grab attack or a tackle attack, and that costs you a lot of time and health. So you'll see him doing that whenever you see Novistadors around.
So fortunately, they're pretty nice this time around. We do run into them 3 times, each one being harder than the last. But that time, we go ahead and use the flash grenade there, just sort of a safety strat. Otherwise, we'd have to run through that very tight corridor with 3 Novistadors just chilling there, and there's usually a really high chance that they'll go ahead and attack you. So like I said, they're very random in what they do. You just can't, predict anything. You just have to react, as soon as you see them and hope that, they don't grab you. And they can also chain attack you, so, they can just keep jumping on you, and then you're just dead. And that makes that, one of the, hardest or most reset areas as well, the castle segment. But here we are in the next sort of challenge of 3-2, which is the Red Zealot room. I'll let Audie talk about this area.
So the Red Zealot is kind of a punk. When you first go to fight him, the first time you play this game, he'll run around and you have to chase him forever. He gets on a minigun. It takes forever. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to flash these guys. Then we're going to throw an incendiary on him, and this is going to have a glitch happen to where he becomes Ricky Bobby and needs Tom Cruise to use his witchcraft to get the fire off of him. So fortunately enough for us, Tom Cruise isn't around. So instead, we're going to use the rifle and just shoot his head off. This will save us a lot of time, like a minute or so. Normally he would run, but because of that glitch, he thinks he's on fire and just stays there.
So I kind of just he just stuck in that animation during that cutscene. We let that cutscene run out instead of skipping it so that he does stay there. So if we were to skip it, he would just appear on the other side of the room and just run down to that minigun and just cause a lot of problems for us.
And this is one of those puzzles that show you how hard the game really is. The combination is actually 1, 2, 3, 4.
So they definitely put a lot of work into these puzzles. So every room in 3-2 is really difficult. There's always just a lot of things that go bad. So we started with Novistadors, and then we went to Red Zealot. This room just has a ton of Ganado running at you. And they can grab you at any point. Let's see right here. All right, nice. Ooh, that was close. Yeah. What's this guy doing here, though? But yeah, you have rockets coming everywhere. You have scythes flying at you, and Leon just wants to get through this room without any issues. But looks like there's not going to be too many problems right here. The scariest thing is coming out of that door that I just went through. Having a guy already standing right there, ready to grab you. So he's grabbing you. Here comes some rockets. Everyone's going to have a bad time.
So if you guys saw the Englishman's run at HDQ, 2013, I think it was?
Pretty far back.
Yeah, you wouldn't have seen this part here because he was on GameCube, and the door that was in front of him, he just ran past. That's actually one of the doors in the game where you can use what's called the TMP glitch. It's, for some reason, only on GameCube. I guess they patched it after that, but when the stock was equipped on the GameCube, it would extend the hitbox of the gun past where it's supposed to be, and you can actually shoot through the door and shoot the lock off on the other side and skip this entire chapter.
Saves like 1:50.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't do it on Steam, so we just go ahead and go through this wonderful hedge area. So this area, just sort of a personal story. So I got this game when it first came out, first day, GameCube. So I've been playing this since day one. This area right here, as soon as I entered in and you listen to the cutscene about, there being some sort of thing in here, I took one look at it and I just shut off the game and I didn't play it for a few days. Because I was not ready for, just this tight area with these enemies running around. It was just too much for, my teenage self to handle. Now on a speedrun, though, we know exactly where we're going, so we just run through, no problem, collect all these items. And like I said, earlier, about these finger Zs, as long as we don't run directly at them, they won't attack us. So let's see if we get through this part. So yeah, so as long as we're always running at an angle when they're around, they won't jump on us. And usually they don't even try to attack us other than just jumping on us. So makes this, what was a very scary part of the game for me, just extremely easy. And that concludes Chapter 3-2. All right, so now we're in 3-3, which is the shortest chapter in the game. Pretty straightforward chapter, though. So if there are any donations now, that'd be a good time to read them.
Sure thing. We have $50 from Tan Man, who says, "Thanks for giving me some great entertainment and helping out a great cause." $50 from Anonymous that says, "Glad to see the proceedings going to the best kind of doctors, the ones that aren't in it for the money, but for the health and well-being, both physically and mentally, of people all over the globe. Good luck to all runners, and thank you for making this event possible."
Get out of here. Oh, man, he's not going to get sent flying. Sometimes that guy will just duck in front of that door, and once you kick down the door, he just gets sent flying across the room. There's very small things like that we enjoy throughout the run that we don't see very often. So what might be pretty whatever, it seems boring, it's really exciting for us. So you might see us get hyped over things that you don't even realize are really exciting. Like right here, see what these guys are going to do right here. Come on.
Stay there.
Sometimes those guys will stay at the door, which means we can just kick the door down and run past them. Otherwise, these guys are just going to do a little dance to Disco Inferno and then let us pass. All right. Like I said, this is a really short chapter, and we are out. So this is the last the last part of Chapter 3. First things first, we got to save Ashley, unfortunately, because we do need her throughout the rest of this run, and I did miss a shot, so I need to reload right there. Come on. There we go. Taking very special care to not hit Ashley because she is a little bit overweight. She has a larger hitbox than normal, so I don't want to kill her and have to reset the room. But yeah, the first part is going to shoot those shackles off. Second part is we need to kill all these zealots that are in the area, starting with those 3 right there. And that kind of showed the power of the rifle, just instantly killing them with those headshots. Now, for the second part, we need to kill these, all these Gonado at once, including this red zealot that has more HP than your normal enemy. So we start off by shooting him in the leg. That way he's a cripple for the rest of his life. Then we end his life by throwing all these this grenade at a specific angle, which will kill all the enemies in the room at once. Now, the reason why we need to do it like that, if there's even one enemy that's left alive, that just triggers more enemies spawning, which isn't a reset necessarily. It just means that it just takes more time to finish off the rest of the enemies. So there's very small things like that we do after the run just to save a few seconds here and there. And right there, I did get that angle correct, so I was able not to worry about that. So now we're in the part with Ashley, and I'm sure everyone who voted for Special 1 is definitely getting their just desserts right now. I believe you have something you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, so one of the other runners, Outrage, and I found recently through messing around with a sequence break that it was made possible by using inventory manipulation. We found that if you come to this area when the game thinks you're in a later chapter, which you're not supposed to be able to come back to anyway, the game, when you go to rooms after you've been to it once, like the second time in a later chapter, the enemies are different. There's different people there. But if you come to this area the second time, you're not supposed to be here. So the game actually has no idea what to do. And so it just fills with a bunch of random enemies, including one special one. This one special enemy is for some reason like 2 feet shorter than every other one. It makes no sense. And if he grabs you, all of a sudden the game will start playing every sound in the game, and it freezes, and the game's just done. You have to reset. It's a pretty strange thing that happens. We don't know why it happens.
Yeah, this game has a lot of strange stuff in the normal run, but having this like short midget Gonado, which decides to play every audio file in the game, definitely takes the cake. So it's unfortunate that we're not able to do an actual run, since we do need to hack the game a little bit to fill up our inventory of items that we normally wouldn't have. But kind of just a funny little Easter egg.
Right here, we're introduced to another enemy, a new enemy, the Armadura. It's pretty much Plagas inside of suits of armor. It's another thing that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But they're pretty tough. These things will one-shot Ashley unless he successfully, unless he succeeds at all of these cutscenes right here.
All right, got through. But this is really easy. Nice part about Steam version is that you can just spam all the QTs on the controller, and then you're guaranteed to get it. It's a little bit harder on the older consoles just because the game doesn't read inputs as much. So if you're spamming one input, it's not going to read another input. That generally just means you have to watch for the correct input and just hit that correctly. But in C version, it just makes it really trivial. I have a little bit of a break right here, so if there's any donations, it'd be a good time.
Perfect. We have $50 from Anonymous that says, "It's always so entertaining watching these. You guys are awesome. Keep up the great work." We also have $60 from Alfred. "I've been donating for about 2 to 3 years now, and I still remember that one year where we would have had a world record-breaking Metroid run, only to be ruined because we saved the animals. So here's more money to save the animals and ruin another record attack."
So we are in 4-1 right now. So if you guys thought this game was realistic, 4-1 is a chapter that just completely shatters all your expectations. So, to point out right now, we're in this castle right now. Now we're inside a volcano. So for whatever reason, the person that built this castle, the architect, is like, all right, we're going to go ahead and put this volcano inside here. And we're going to go ahead and put a key at the end. You need to get further in the castle. So I'm sure the guy, the owner of the castle is like, oh man, I lost my key. I got to go through this lava room. Just so much pain. But yeah, this is the chapter that just makes you realize this game makes absolutely no sense, and they're just putting whatever they can in it. But the main reason we come in here, like I said, we have to pick up this key item right here. Go ahead and get that. And we've actually been collecting items like this throughout Chapter 3. The reason why we do this is because there's a wall that we need to go through at the start of the castle that we're not able to get through just yet, just because we don't have the items. But now that we do have those items, we can go back there. So there's like this talk of we want to find a way to get through this door in 3-1 because it would skip a huge amount of the game, just completely change up the route, eventually make the game probably sub 1 hour on New Game Plus. So if there's anyone out there that has experience in finding exploits or these tricks, getting through walls or whatever, we have a challenge for anyone that can get through there. We'll easily pay someone to find a way to get through this wall.
We have a bounty.
We have a bounty for this. I don't know the exact details of the bounty, but if someone can find a way to get through this wall, it would completely change up this game. So yeah, we're back in where we were in 3-1 at the very start. Now we're going to be able to get through this wall right now and get to the second part of the castle.
It's actually possible to get Ashley through this wall by just pegging exit or just nonstop.
We just can't get Leon through.
Yeah, that's the main challenge right there.
As much as she sucks, she can actually get where we can't. if you can skip half the game, we can.
So about 4-1. 4-1 is actually the longest chapter in the game. I think it's about 13, 14 minutes or so. And it's actually a huge difficulty spike in this chapter as well. Everything that we've done so far has actually been really simple, but in a couple rooms, the difficulty just increases immensely, and in the run really becomes a little bit interesting. First off, we have to go through another little puzzle. Have these 4 tiles on the ground. Just have to make sure that all of them are being pressed down. So let's go ahead and do that. That'll open up this door. All right, and then we're going to stand at this entrance, and we're not going to go in just yet. We're going to shoot all these lights out. So instead of shooting all these lights out allows us to bypass a scene out of Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones. Normally, spikes will be coming out of the walls right there, and we have to shoot out all the lights to get through here. So normally I would skip this cutscene, but I really want to point out how ridiculous this cutscene is. So there's nothing in there. There's no door in that little enclosement. So those 2 guys were born there, and they were placed in there on this like huge. I don't know what it is, but their whole life has been inside that little room. And eventually, like, all right, we're tired of this place. They decided to pull like an Andy Dufresne and just get out of here. And it just so happens to be at the point where Leon's running by. So, sorry guys, we just shattered all their dreams.
Freedom.
All right, so now we are to the difficult part. So we talked about, Almanduras being, just plagas in these suits of armors. And before it only been just avoiding them with QTs. Now we actually need to fight them other than just them missing an attack and just disintegrating. I'm going to actually go ahead and reload right here just in case I miss any shots. So we start off things with grabbing this grail in the middle of the wall, or the room. We need to get headshots on each of these guys. Okay, so that's all right, perfect. All right, nice. So that's actually a little bit harder than it looks. The main reason why this room is so difficult is that if you miss any of those headshots, those enemies will be out of position. So we have a very, this room is all about timing. If you miss any one of these headshots, it usually either warrants you dying because they'll just chain attack you with the plagas, and the weapons are actually, oh, come on. What? Don't do that to me. Come on, baby. Okay. Oh, there we go. So that usually warrants you dying or just need to play a ring around the rosy until one of them just stop moving and you're able to shoot them and throw that flash grenade. And speaking of the flash grenade, a little bit of the interesting mechanic of the game is that any exposed plagas will die instantly to these flash grenades. So we're able to use the ones that we've been stocking up so far. That way we can kill those plagas without worrying about having to waste any more rifle ammo or anything like that, which makes what would be normally a difficult fight a little bit easier. It's still a difficult room, but it makes it a lot easier than what it would be normally. Just about to probably the hardest room in the game. Let me get through here first. Nice. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Sleepwalker talk about this room again.
Actually, I want to go back to that hallway. You saw JTB kind of look away from the enemies, and that made it so they didn't throw scythes at him. And he's going to do that again here, just kind of, swaying back and forth, making sure he's not looking at any Novistadors, making sure they don't jump on him. A very safe strat is to use flash grenades here, and it kind of pushes them backwards, buys you enough time to unlock that or break the locks on that bridge and have it lowered to escape the room. So that's actually a very good Novistador room. Second layer of hell.
So, like I say, those enemies are the most unpredictable enemies in the game, and when they start flying in the air, it just gets 100 times worse. So, usually they have like a set distance that they can fly. They don't care about that. They'll go from one side of the room to the other in just one swoop. If they're anywhere next to you, they'll start pushing you down, and in turn just keep pushing you down over and over. You're not even able to get into your inventory screen. So it's essentially you're going to die right there, getting comboed over and over. That time, they're actually nice. They let me through. I guess they kind of respect that we're doing a marathon run, but anytime I'm playing offline or, trying to do like world record attempts, they'll just go all out on you. So pretty nice right there.
That's the bad kind of God frames. See if you can use them to, hit enemies and also not get hit in return. But also here, if you're hitting the ground, you're unable to go into your inventory. You can't do anything until you're up. And often, while you're getting up, an enemy will start an attack. And as soon as you're out of God frames and able to do something, the enemy will land a hit and just kill you and it runs over.
All right, I'm getting rid of some of these heals. I should not have this many heals. I know I'm trying to do safe strats, but it's like pitted strats right there. So this is probably another good time for donations. Just going to going through this tower real quick. Not much explanation needed.
Perfect. I have a fun one here. I'm going to try and actually do it justice, too. So we have $25 from Dyla that says, "Welcome. My first donation of many. Got a fine selection of runners on stream, stranger. I'll donate at a high price."
Nice.
Thank you.
We also have $55 from Malik, who says, "Keep up the great work."
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for not. What are you doing, sir? All right, so this guy is being issued. Okay. What should have happened there is that I should have shot him in the head, and then I should have kicked him into that archer right there, kind of causing a chain reaction. That way I can shoot those other scythe guys and run past them. The reason why we do that is that if we ignore that archer, he'll hit you, and then the scythe will hit you, and then Leon is suddenly headless. Obviously, we need a head to get through this run. Oh, no, don't do that either. Now I'm regretting dropping off that hill. All right, nice. All right, now we get... Right. All right, so that rocket right there, I'll let Levaldi talk about that, or see. Let one of you guys talk about that.
That's called, I guess, officially the Ricky rocket, which is named after me because I was actually doing a race with Audie here, and while walking into this room, I decided to see if a new strat would work in the middle of a race. There's a thing called a D-cross, where if you hold up on the control stick and up on the D-pad at the same time, for some reason the up and down inputs get entered twice, and so you can look up twice as fast. And if you do want to enter in the room like that, you can shoot a rocket at just right angle where you can hit both the enemies at the same time. And on professional mode, if you do that, you need one more shot on the right Gardor who's covered in armor, who's much stronger, to kill him. But if you do the rocket at the right angle, he'll turn with Plagas towards you, and so it's a pretty easy fight.
So as you can see, he just bought the Striker shotgun. It's the last shotgun you get in the game, the most powerful one. And it has a special property to it. It actually gives you the most useful glitch in the game. It's called the Dittman glitch. This glitch makes Leon run 1.5 times faster than normal. And the way it's used is you use the Striker, act like you're going to aim, and then switch to another weapon quickly. You'll see him do it here just in a second. And now he's running faster. This can be disabled, though, by a lot of things. Getting hit, walking through doors, certain cutscenes will deactivate it. But now he's about to fight Vertigo, which is Salazar's left-hand man. And there's some QTE skips coming up. So
right hand, dude.
Is he the right hand?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know, man.
His right hand comes off.
He's one of the hands.
Okay, he got both the QT skips, so that saves like 6 seconds. Normally, you would hit those QTs to do like a backflip to get away from Vertigo, but instead, you can dodge them by pressing R or stopping Leon at the perfect time, the perfect pixel, and you'll be able to keep your Dittman instead of doing the backflips, so you get to run faster the entire time during the fight.
The reason why is that, the game, you're running at a certain speed, and the game doesn't realize that you're running faster than intended. So it thinks that you're in a certain spot when you're not. So by stopping right there at the exact moment where the game determines, okay, this is where he is, and this is where we're going to hit him, we stop at a completely different spot and lets us just keep running. So that's something we actually abuse throughout this run, doing certain QTs or just whatever. And you'll actually see that coming up in this chapter. But that ends 4-1. Like I said, one of the longest, or the longest chapter in the game. Not much problems with that chapter. Usually gives a lot more issues, so I'm glad that we were able to get through there. But now we're in 4-2, and it's actually probably another good time for donations as well.
Cool. We've got $50 from PJL, who says, "Thanks for the awesome speedruns."
Come back, idiot.
We also have $100 from, I'm going to butcher this name, Reyna D. Marshall, who says, "Good luck and have fun to all the runners. We already know the animals are going to die, so let's go for Chrono Trigger 100% instead." And $30 from Braden, who says, Going to be gone this week, so unfortunately today is my only day watching. Glad you guys do this and love what the money is going towards. Keep up the good work, guys, and get those games done quick.
All right, so in this room, normally we would have to run to that door and we'll fight two Gigantes, which we actually call the Gigante Bros. That does take a lot of time, but we're doing a speedrun, so we don't want to fight those guys. So we talked about how Ditman thinks we're in a different spot than we really are. So you can see right there, it kind of got, I was going a lot faster than the zip line was actually carrying me. When we do that twice, however, it gives us a kind of an interesting thing. Now we're out of bounds. So you see we're on the outside of the room. You can still see the bottom, though. But the main reason why we do this is that we're able to just completely run past this door and get into the next area. So what would make probably a difficult fight, having to fight two of those Gigantes at once, makes it just non-existent. But now we're in the third layer of hell, our third and final encounter with our good friends, the Novistadors. I know Sleepwalker really enjoys these guys, so I'll let him keep talking about them.
Oh yeah, these guys are fun. This room has the most Novistadors in them. Ooh, he's gonna throw a flash grenade.
Oh my god,
That was
what's
close.
going on?
Oh, God.
Okay, so that's not good. That's the grab attack we were talking about. See how it takes a lot of damage, or it gives a lot of damage. 2 hits from that can kill you. So that canceled his Ditman, so he has to do it again. He's going to pull out a striker again here. There's some flying ones that come out of this cave. He's going to shoot down. And knocking them down like that is an instant kill. So firing the striker cancels Ditman. So he's going to re-Ditman, press the switch. And he's got a whole bunch more to dodge again.
Oh, God.
That was good.
Nice.
So if there's ever a clinch moment in this game, that is the clinch moment. Because those guys, if you don't quickly get out of there, or find one of them to kick out of the way, then, like I said, you usually get comboed here. And it's way worse in here because, or this could be the hardest part in the game, apparently. So I was a little bit slow, unfortunately, on getting through this area. That's a very precise QT you have to get through. But unfortunately, I was not quick enough, so I'll just have to wait for that. But anyways, yeah, back to those guys. If you die in this room, it adds the most amount of time to any of the Novistadors rooms. So that's ultimately, once you get past that room, that's when the run actually starts. That's when you go, okay, I can actually PB or anything like that. Anything before then, no, you can't. You don't have it run until you get about halfway through. So I'm just glad I wasn't able to die there. I've had very unfortunate experiences with them. But it looks like they're being nice tonight, so we don't have to see them anymore. So that makes this run a lot less stressful. But we still have to go through the rest of the castle, so we have a few extra things we'll need to do before we're on to the final segment of the game. So if there are any donations here, this would be a good time to say them.
We have $50 from Velvian, who says, second-time live watcher, first-time donor. Putting this towards Link to the Past 100% run. Have fun with that shovel game. Thank you for doing such a wonderful thing, and hype for the rest of the run.
Oh, what are they doing?
We also have $50 from Corwin LW. It says, love to see this wonderful Baroque game quickly bypassed. GDQ is amazing. Keep up the good work.
So not every room will do Ditman, and we kind of time each room to see which one is worth actually going to the inventory, having to pull out 2 different weapons in order to activate it. But this is one of those rooms that is worth it. So this is like the entrance to the mine. We need to grab this key here. And like Audie talked about earlier, a lot of things do interrupt your Ditman. But we do find ways to maintain it as long as possible. So like right here, you have this wooden door. Instead of kicking it open, trying straight up demolish it, so hope they have insurance there. And gonna lose it because that guy came out of nowhere and decided to hit me. And then right here, normally what people do when they come up to these doors, they'll just hit the use button. That way it goes into your inventory and uses the item. But if you actually go into your inventory itself without using it at the door and use it manually, then you're able to maintain that speed and just ultimately just keep running through. So if one scene from Temple of Doom wasn't enough, they had to throw in another. But that one's a little bit more difficult just because you have to dodge those guys on the ground. As long as you keep moving, then you don't have to worry about anything they may do to you, but you still need to shoot those lights out. All right, and if there's ever a time that anyone needs to go to the bathroom or anything, this is it, because we all know what auto scrolls are like in a speed run. So we have this minecart that we have to go through, about 4 minutes, no way to skip it. Essentially, what we're going to be doing the entire run is shooting down these Gono that would be normally jumping into our minecarts and avoiding dying. So pretty straightforward segment. There's a few special things I'll point out throughout this, but for the most part, this is just...
This is actually another bounty we have out. If someone can figure out how to skip this minecart ride, we would love you forever.
We found that you can skip it, but you have to be moving at 10 times your normal speed, which isn't really possible without cheating, so you can't actually skip it.
Additionally, if there are any donations, go right. He can talk for the next 5 minutes.
Don't give me that kind of freedom. We've got $30 from Dex210. It says, I remember this game being so difficult and scary as a teenager, and you're making it look so easy. Keep up the good work. We have $20 from Anonymous, who raises a very good point here. Is it just me, or do we still not have $100,000 yet? Keep up the good work, everybody, and don't forget to donate. We are very close to that $100,000 mark, just $2,000 left. So it would be great to see that accomplished by the end of this run. You've got about 40 minutes left before that happens, so get those donations in. We also have $20 from Mexican Robin 91. It's the first time me donating, and it's so fun to be able to watch these games I love so much be played, and it's being done to help people. Let's keep up the good work and break every single goal we have.
So normally what I would do there is let that wood plank go ahead and hit Dr. Salvador. That way it instantly kills him. Fortunately, I let some of them drop down into my cart, so I had to keep shooting him down, so he didn't instantly kill me. But those wooden planks go ahead, and they'll kill any enemy it touches in one hit, regardless of how much HP they have. So right now, it's not too big of a deal. It just means I'm using extra shotgun ammo. I normally don't. But we pick up enough ammo throughout this run that, just using a few extra things here shouldn't be a big deal. All right, this should be the insta kill. Nice. All right, see if this guy comes over. This is for you, Pitted. All right. So this guy right here, this is our good friend.
The man.
This guy likes us so much. He tries to join Lee on his cart, and he doesn't want to attack. Actually, let's give him some off-screen time. Oh, apparently a little romance going on, but we got to go. We're from 2 different countries, and it's just not going to work out. So we're going to let him go ahead and jump into that ravine, and Leon's going to do his little Superman jump to their side. And that concludes our very long auto-scroller. I had to pick up this, actually, get rid of this. So I don't need any extra ammo besides TMP ammo and shotgun ammo. Fortunately, there are some times where extra ammo will drop in a spot that I need to otherwise do something such as jumping over that minecart. But unfortunately, picking up the ammo does take precedence over all that. So sometimes I will be forced to pick up stuff and then just have to discard it later in order to get through that area. But yeah, that concludes 3-3, and now we're on, 4-3. Now we're on to 4-4, which is the final chapter of the castle segment. Kind of have a pretty interesting chapter in itself. You're going to see some cool things that you normally would never seen in a normal run. But first, we need to get through this area. So this area, we need to kill. We don't need to actually kill anything. We need to activate these 2 switches in order to raise platforms to get over to where Ashley is being held. Oh, I didn't even shoot. That's going to make it a little bit harder.
Yeah, that red zealot's going to be tricky now.
That's all right. I know how to get through them. Anyways, normally what I would have done if I wasn't talking and not paying attention to the game is I would have shot off 2 shots with a TMP. That would have attracted enemies throughout this area to my position. That way they're going to be somewhere else from where I need to be. So let's actually do this. I'll just turn around and shoot him in the ground. So what would happen normally if I shot earlier, that guy would not have been right there. He would have been trying to climb that ladder to get to where Leon was at when he fired that shot. And here's where the game, it's like, say, talking about that drunken turn. He just couldn't. He wanted to put more in the game. So he's like, all right, no, I'm a real huge Gundam fan. So we're going to put in this huge statue that's just going to chase Leon and just fall off. So Resident Evil 4, everybody.
Gotta love it.
All All right, now we're to the last part of 4-4. So now we need to climb this huge tower to get to the boss that's at the very top. First off, we're going to go ahead and activate Ditman. Normally there's these huge flaming barrels, so that also, the engine must have also really liked Donkey Kong. So, you have these flaming barrels coming down that way at Leon. But since we're moving so fast, we're able to just run past them before they even reach him. So that's the first part of the tower. Pretty straightforward part. There's nothing you can really do to mess that up. And then comes our favorite elevator ride. So normally this part would be really trivial on a New Game Plus because you have either the infinite or the PRL, which would just kill any enemy that's trying to jump on here. But we don't have any special weapons in a New Game. So instead, what's going to happen throughout this part is that enemies are continuously jumping onto this elevator. You can see it right here. And anytime there's two enemies on the elevator, that just stops the, or I guess it would be a lift. It stops the lift from moving. So this part, you have to continuously shoot these guys off as, oh no, what are you doing? Okay, good. You need to continually shoot these guys off as they appear on here. And this is actually, even though there's really no fear in dying in this part, it can be a really big, it can be a run killer because, like I said, just missing those angles, not shooting them all off at once, just causes them to continuously keep jumping on the elevator. That way it's not moving. So what should have taken like 40 seconds to get through is now going to take like 2 minutes because all of them are like, all right, we're going to have a party on this elevator. Just because I missed one angle for shooting them down. The angle's a little bit tricky to get. There's no real set way to do it. It's more just based on, your own gut and experience. So let's go ahead. All right.
At least the Plaga guys get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Please. 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 All right, there we go. That should be the rest of them. So yeah, that adds a lot of extra time. And one of those hidden things that just, that could kill a run without actually killing Leon. So that part it should have taken about 45 seconds or so to get through. But it happens. No big deal. But yeah, that's the second part of the tower. And now we are going to be running to the third part, which is the boss of the final boss of the castle area. I'll let Audie talk a little bit about the unique strategy that we use to get past this boss.
Yeah, so this is Salazar. This is his castle. So there was a glitch found by Derek Taylor. We call the Salazar skip. Basically, we're going to skip this fight completely. Normally, you would have to shoot his eye, and then a pod would open up, and you would shoot Salazar. But instead, we can use Ditman, and using a precise pixel, you can jump down, float on air, and then walk through Salazar's body. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, man.
It's a little bit tricky to get it. It's even the best people.
This is a frame perfect.
This
glitch.
is the second hardest glitch to do in RE4, and this is the hardest one you'll actually see him do in this run. There we go, we got it. And then we ran back in and pickpocketed him, and we left.
For some reason, this is one of the 2 doors in the game you can open from behind yourself. I don't know why. It just is.
So even though we don't kill him, the money's still there. So he has a lot of lunch money right there, and we can use it to buy a couple extra rocket launchers. So we just go in quickly and grab that and then book it out of there. And then
Salazar is still there, too. He's stuck there forever now.
He's stuck there for the rest of the game, or the entire life. And, they're never going to come back here, too, because as soon as you get the president's daughter, it's like, all right, we're going to ignore this place. So have fun, Salazar, if you're having fun at that top of that tower. But, yeah, that concludes the
castle area.
That is the castle, by the way. Okay, so now that concludes the castle area of the game. And we go on to the final area of the game. I'm actually going to let Audie talk a little bit more about something we're going to see coming up.
So we just got through doing the Salazar skip, and now we have to do another out of bounds. This is the island skip. Salazar saved us about 22 seconds doing that glitch. This glitch will save us about 45 seconds. Normally we would run towards the other path in the fork in the road. But instead we run over here with Ditman, and jumping on a precise pixel, we can now walk through walls. We can then use this boulder over here to elevate ourselves, and then just run to the ladder that would be the end of the section. Normally we would go over there where that light is and do a puzzle, and it takes a while. But
you run everywhere you want. So like this huge backdrop that you have for with the rest of the island. Let's just go run straight through it, see if we run warp. Oh no, we just go through this. But yeah, that's a kind of useful little trick right there. Fortunately, we're not able to go to the end of the island, but we'll just go ahead and get right here, I believe. All right, and then exit the area. I'm skipping what would be kind of a little bit long puzzle. But yeah, this is the island segment of the game. So we talk about, how, the village, very punishing. One mistake usually warrants a reset. The castle is very random. The island, which is my favorite part of the game, is just straight up execution. There's not much randomness to do with the island. Pretty much any mistakes that you see will be purely because of me. And it makes it kind of a really fun chapter to do. You don't have to worry about, Novistadors messing up your run or just anything random. It's just your own, raw skill. And there's actually my favorite boss fight is also in this section area as well. But here we are just running through this first part of the military base. Nothing really to see, so if there are any donations, it'd be a good time.
We have $20 from Levito, who says, "Can't tell you all how happy it makes me to see Resident Evil 4 have more viewers on Twitch than League of Legends."
Oh, yeah.
Really amazing work, you guys.
That's pretty amazing.
That is really cool. We got also $20 from Carrie Madonna, who says, "I did a little research today and saw that SDA's first charity drive reached a goal of $10,000. Look at us a few years later on the verge of breaking $100,000 on the first day. You're doing a great job, JTB. I'm getting genuine nostalgic fear. You've got a great couch crew. Cheers from Vancouver, Canada."
Thanks a lot. So this part, probably another memorable part from anyone who's ever played this game. We got our good friends called the Regenerators, which are, what archetype of them is probably called bullet sponges. So we'll actually see them in just a moment. Go pick that key. Here we have them, the Regenerator. So these enemies, these guys have a lot of health. Takes a lot of resources in order to kill them. And they'll probably usually instantly kill you too. Usually you have to pick up like a thermal scope in order to find like their weak points and stuff. So they could be a huge problem for anyone playing this game the first time. And also, they just walk around and you just hear them breathing. So it adds to a pretty terrifying experience for someone who's never played this game before. But in Speedrun, they are our favorite enemies because they are slow, their attacks are slow, and you just run past them. You don't have to kill a single one. So just as is, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. As is with the hedge maze being this scary point in the game, turn easy. As is same thing with the Regenerators right there. So we haven't seen the last of them yet, but that's the first area where we have with them. My wrong items. There's always a chance that I'll accidentally switch to an item I don't want or weapon I don't want out when I'm using a key item. That was a thing you saw right there. Usually I should have had the striker out already. That way I can quickly dip man to get through that area. But sometimes I'll just forget what I'm doing and just accidentally pull out something I don't even need. Did I even? Okay, I did. Okay. But yeah, the second part after Regenerators, we have to go ahead and free Ashley. We do need her for the rest of the run, so it's pretty unfortunate. But we need to get the key card that frees her from her gel. To do that, go through this area. And like I said, you see me running through a lot of these enemies without even killing them. These are certain paths that we do take. We're not just running past them with whatever path we want to take. Every room has a unique path that we have to use to get through them. So explaining every single room, honestly, it would take me probably an entire marathon to explain this entire game. It has so many little tricks everywhere that it would be really difficult to fit into just a normal run of this game. So we do try to point out some of the bigger ones, and that's kind of like the main appeal of this game. As you can tell, this game isn't really mechanically difficult at all. It's actually a really easy speed run. So the main difficult part of it is just knowledge, knowing exactly what can happen at any time and being able to react to it accordingly. So that's why you don't see very many glitches throughout this run. Actually, the out of bounds that we saw there, two of the last glitches, where am I going? Two of the last glitches throughout this run. And the rest of it is just knowing how to get through these areas and apparently equipping the right items. And yeah, now we got Ashley with us. All right, so first thing I'm going to do in this area is actually reload my checkpoint. This causes a bunch of enemies to actually despawn right outside here. It's not something you need to do, but it just makes it a lot easier to get through. So normally there would be a lot more enemies right here that we would have to kick out of the way to get past this shield guy. And that's kind of one thing, though. When they have the shield, they're not affected by flash grenades, so we need to find an alternate way to deal with them. So talking about Ashley, the perfect example of human bait, we're just going to go ahead and leave her there so that all the Gonado try to go after her rather than Leon. So we just run straight through there. Shut up, Ashley. And even though she gets picked up, yeah, she got hit there. Oh my God, what
the heck?
So apparently they don't like her as much either.
You're supposed to capture her.
You're supposed to capture her, not kill her. So that's one of the areas that we don't even need her with us to get through. Typically, it's areas where you have to walk past a certain point in the room to trigger to the next room rather than just going through a door. So we're able to leave her there, and she was not supposed to get it, so I'm actually pretty surprised. He learned something new about this game every time you run it. So even though most of us have like thousands of attempts throughout this game, we're still constantly learning new things every day. It's just the way the game works, and kind of makes it kind of interesting just running the game. It's never going to become stale or anything like that. There's always something new you can learn. All right, please don't get Ashley. I don't want that.
We're coming up on the Miley Cyrus room now.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got a wrecking ball right there. Fortunately, there's lava underneath it, so Ashley can't climb up to it and do our best impression of Miley Cyrus. So we're just going to let it go normally and try to break this barrier, which leads to the next area. So all these flash grenades I've been saving throughout the run. This is where we're pretty much going to use all of them. I'm going to try to only use 2. That way I have another one saved for later. I do need to go save Ashley, unfortunately. Come on, Ashley, let's go. Oh my God.
She got close to dying there.
She got very close to dying right there.
Wow. That was luck.
So those big guys with the, I don't even know what they are. They don't even care about capturing Ashley. They just want to hit everything with their maces or whatever. So those guys will just straight up run to Ashley and smack her in the face. So I got really lucky right there, not dying. Especially with Ashley being at that low of health. Fortunately, I was able to save one of my flash grenades, which I'll use for later just in case something really bad happens. But for now, speaking about regenerators, easy enemies to get past. And here Ashley defies the laws of the world a little bit.
She's a wizard.
So we don't want Ashley out of sight, so we're just going to call her straight through that shutter right there. Even though the lever's still getting activated, so it doesn't really add any time or saving time. It's just a silly little thing we like to do. As long as it looks like we're going faster, we're going to do it, even if it doesn't actually save us any time. So here is the second auto-scroller game. Ashley magically learns how to drive this bulldozer. And for whatever reason, we don't know why this bulldozer's here, but it is. Notice there's nothing behind us. There's absolutely nothing here. It's going to be important later. It's just a clear, empty warehouse. So for this first part, you have all these Gondo that are going to start chasing us, trying to get on this truck. Fortunately, they don't have a bus pass, so we're not going to let them on. What we're going to do to keep them off is continuously run on this edge, and for whatever reason, they're going to think that, except for this guy, they're going to think that Leon's actually right next to him. So they're just going to sit there and attack nothing, which is pretty nice because we're able to save a lot of shotgun ammo in this area, and there's no fear of actually getting hit by them if they're not on this bus with us or trucks. So just keep doing that. There should be some enemies that jump down right now. There you are. And that's the part about the striker is even though it is the primary use is for that glitch, the Dimmick glitch, it does have a lot of damage output. So it can quickly dispose of enemies if they are getting in our way. So like I said, there's nothing behind us. Now there's a truck. This truck came out of nowhere, so there's a lot of theories about this truck. It may come from like hell or something. It's like a phantom truck. It's not actually real, but yeah, this truck just like, it may have been the truck from the beginning of the game that we saw from 2-3. He's like, all right, I wasn't able to get my chance. He shot the guy out of the window, so I'm going to board up my my windshield completely.
Yet he still knows where to drive.
And he actually, oh crap.
Uh-oh. Ooh.
I didn't actually reload before that, so I've been kind of bad. But those beams that you saw up there, another theory to prove, thing to prove that it is a ghost truck, is that he just drove straight through those beams without any problems. So, I'm sure there's like some forum dedicated somewhere to just this truck, like only just discussing where did this truck come from. But here, this part, we need to go ahead and activate this lever up there. That way we can get to the top of here. Pretty straightforward. We jump down this side using Dipman. I actually equipped the grenade rather than the TMP there. That way I can get through this guy. Okay, good. There's a little bit of a movement speed difference between equipping a weapon and equipping a grenade. You run a little bit quicker in this animation. And right there, if I had just been running a little bit slower, that guy would have ended up grabbing me, and that would have canceled out my Dipman. It wouldn't have killed me, but it would have canceled out my Dipman, meaning that I have to go ahead, heal, and then activate Dipman once more, and then run through. So that's why we do that there. Just another little trick that we do.
I think it might just be on GameCube, but occasionally if you're playing on GameCube, on this part right here, that bald guy who we just killed will somehow get stuck underneath the truck. And so you'll be just up there and you'll hear somebody running around, but you can't see him. But then there's this guy who's just half sticking out of the truck hitting you with a mace. And it doesn't really make sense like why that happens or how it works, but...
There's a lot of weird things in this game that we just grow to accept, even if we can't explain them. So that's just one of those things.
And every version is different, too.
Yeah, every version has their own like little things that just you don't see in any other version. So that makes it kind of interesting if you ever try to play a new console, or RE4 on a new console. It's kind of cool. If there are any donations, probably a good time to talk about them while I hopefully don't die here.
We have $50 from T.E. Blackhawk, who says, $50 towards the 100% Chrono Trigger run. Have to get onto one of the best RPGs in history. And speaking of that donation incentive, we are currently sitting at $3,833.50 out of a required $65,000 to increase that to a 100% run. That run is still a long ways out yet, but you can still add your donations to that incentive if you wish.
Okay, that was actually really scary.
That was close.
I had to react pretty quickly to that. So that guy, he jumped up right as I threw my flash grenade. And that way he just ignored the animation completely. And at the same time, that truck is coming down that path trying to ram Ashley's bulldozer. And that's pretty much an insta-kill right there, meaning we have to go through that whole entire segment, or the second half of the segment again. So it's really scary, especially with the Plagas there, because they don't care that you'll be stuck in a cutscene. They'll just run up to you and kill you while the game is fading to black. And it's actually a really scary moment. I saved that flash grenade just in case that does happen, because it's such an unfortunate way to die. Just to get through all that and then this guy just come out of nowhere and just smack you with his whatever parasite head, and then having to go through that whole segment again. So fortunately I was able to get through it quickly right there. Just shoot that guy down on his knees and then continue on shooting to that truck. And he didn't hit me before the game loaded the next area, which is also pretty nice. Whoa, hello. So that guy has never hit me before. So you guys just witnessed something completely new. Usually that archer doesn't even shoot at all. So like I said, everything has a new part. Every run is different. So here we got a pretty lengthy cutscene going on with our good friend Krauser. It's unskippable. So this is like the QT area of the game where we just keep spamming QTs all throughout this.
This is the third bounty area for us. If you can figure out how to skip this, money. Straight money for you.
Been a long time, comrade. We all have this memorized. We've heard it billions of times.
Too many times.
Maybe not a billion, but a lot.
Crash 2 years ago. Is that what they told you?
You're the one who kidnapped Ashley. You catch on quick, as expected. After all, you and I both know where we come from. What do you want?
Would this be a good time for a few donations?
No, sorry, not a good time.
All right.
That's all.
Ashley out of this. Oh, I needed her to buy Sadler's trust in me. Like you, I'm American. So as you can tell, this is our favorite part of the game. Proudly display our patriotism with our good friend Krauser. But yeah, that's we love that line. We always do a lot of fun stuff with that in our runs. Everyone has something different, but found these glasses at a Dollar Tree. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start wearing these glasses during this run just because of that. Now talk. Die, comrade. All right, so I want to capture this memorable moment. We've got kind of a long cutscene we have to wait through right here, so let's go ahead and take a picture. Here, you guys. All right, 1, 2, 3. Jeez. Oh, that's a 10-second timer. Okay, keep holding it. We got a long cutscene. Almost there. Sorry, it's a long cutscene. Nice.
Woo.
Good job. Just in time. All right, so what really happened there in the story of the game is that Ada and Krauser are both working for Wesker, who's hiding in the shadows, and he's having them collect this sample from Sadler, which has that parasite. So Ada's kind of like, all right, I really like Leon, so I'm going to go ahead and help him out instead. I actually need to pull out my striker right there, so nothing else just there. I just need to go ahead and pull out my striker for this next area. Nothing special, All right, so I didn't mention already, this is Chapter 5-3. This is actually my favorite chapter in the game. This is like the boss rush chapter because you fight 2 bosses back to back. I know that's not normally the typical definition of a boss rush, but the bosses in this game are so spread out that having 2 of them back to back is pretty interesting for the speedrun. But my favorite boss in this game is coming up after this, and I'm really excited for it. But first we have to go through our good friend U3. Try and come up right here, catch a glimpse of him as soon as we get up here. I believe one of you guys can go ahead and talk about this fight.
U3 is, he's a combination of man, like scorpion and tentacle. Ugly, okay. It doesn't really explain, he's just kind of...
Don't kill me.
Got him.
And that's one bad part about U3. The thing is, when you're doing a speedrun on professional, if he grabs you like that, one of his QuickTime events, as soon as he grabs you, you don't have enough time to shake off his tentacle, and it's more or less a run killer right there. But yeah, so in this cage, the biggest problem is just avoiding his attacks, because the hitbox of his tentacle it changes very, very quickly based on where he is in his attack.
You mainly want him to just jump down like that. You don't want him in the ceiling ever.
But it's hard to control. It's hard to predict. And to the second part here, it's not as bad because of where he spawns and what you can do with him. But it's just really annoying having him constantly grabbing at you in the ceiling. It's not as bad on New Game Plus, but in New Game Pro, it's extremely unforgiving if you make one small mistake with it.
Pretty much you have to be anticipating the QTE every time like that in order to get through, because, like I say, you can get out of it, but you have to be mashing like less than a second after he grabs you, which if you're not expecting it, you're not going to get it.
And normally you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go all the way around and shoot a button to activate the door to open to hit that button, but instead we can just throw a grenade and it'll hit on the opposite side of the door and open it for us.
So that's the first part of this fight. The second part of the fight, we actually take advantage of being able to kill him. So we'll start this off by this rocket launcher. And he's dead.
In case you haven't noticed, the rockets are grossly overpowered in this game.
Yeah, and you can buy them at any point in the game, too. He has an infinite supply of them, which is probably pretty questionable why the merchant has so many rocket launchers, but we do use them a lot throughout this run, just because of how strong they are, and they're very cheap. Their prices don't change throughout the run, so the treasures that you pick up later in the run, they grossly increase in their value that we can send to or sell to the merchant. And at the same time, the rocket launchers stay in the same exact price, so that just makes it really easy to pick them up. Usually, every merchant will go ahead and buy them. This would probably be a good time for donations as well as we go ahead and prepare for the next boss.
Perfect. We've got $55 from Shoji, who says, I'm so excited to see my first SGDQ. I'm excited to see how much we can raise this time. You guys are great, and your commentary is awesome. Keep it up.
Welcome.
$30 from Anonymous. I'd like to point out that Leon is literally speedrunning. Looking forward to Tetris tomorrow and Chrono Trigger, 100%.
What are you buying?
And $200 from the Ferret King, who says, here's another $200 to push us closer to 100K. Enjoying the RE4 run. Great job, guys. I'd also like to point out that we are only $700 away from $100,000 in the first day.
Get it, guys.
Get
So
it.
close.
We are almost there.
All right, so this is my favorite area of the game, as well as another boss that we're going to have to get through. So we already saw Krauser. We fought him with that pretty lengthy QT cutscene thingy. I don't know what you would call it. But now we're actually going to fight him for real, mano a mano. So in this part, there's like a bunch of different sections we have to go through first. Each section, we want to get him to throw this flash grenade, which triggers the next part. So first, we're going to go ahead and get in here, collect all these items while he's running up to us. Go ahead and shoot this door down. Not all the way, but just enough that we're able to knife out of it. And what this does is create this barrier in between me and him. Normally, when he gets close to you, he starts this cutscene where you have to keep mashing QTs to knife him. But if there's that barrier in between you, then he won't go ahead and do that, which lets us knife him. So knife is the focal point of this fight. We're using it pretty much the entire part. So right now we're just going ahead and run to the next area. Let's go ahead and trigger right now. All right, so we want him to jump up here. Very nice. He's going to throw a grenade, and we're going to shoot it immediately. And then he's going to jump down here, and knife him in the face, and trigger the next part. So the knife, like I said, is very useful. We have to knife him in the head there to cause enough damage to him in order to throw that flash grenade and let us get to the next part. Otherwise, if we were to, I just went through a statue there. So the game thinks we're moving a lot faster than we should, or we're moving a lot faster than the game thinks we should be. So that lets us just come straight through the statue. It doesn't really add any much time, but it just looks really ridiculous. But yeah, what I did right there is I did enough damage to him to push him over without really needing to fight him like head on. So I shot the grenade right as he threw it. It was close enough to him, but far enough away from me that it only damaged him and it didn't stagger me. And then as soon as he jumps down, I just knife him in the head, which does enough damage to him to push him over. Now, if I missed the knife and got him in his body instead, it would not have done enough damage. And typically, he'll just knife you immediately while you're still in that swinging animation and kill you. Because his knife, you never increase your HP throughout this run, so the knife does enough damage to kill you in one hit. Here comes the last part where we actually need to kill him. And you can already tell that the knife is the main weapon that we're going to use against him. So let's go ahead and set this up. Oh, what are you doing? I'm going to actually go ahead and reset that because I want to do this correctly. I think it might have been because I had the Killer 9 out instead. I think I might have been too close to him.
Prepare for your death, Leon.
All right, so run up here. Jump back. There you go. All right. So that's my favorite fight throughout this run, just because it's only based on your skill, whether or not you get through that. And it's kind of cool, just like being able to use a knife to kill him rather than like any special weapons or anything like that. So it's kind of something cool to talk about. The reason why he does that, he behaves like a normal Ganado or humanoid throughout this game, so that's why the knife is able to stagger him. But since he has so much health, it takes a lot more to kill him. So we're able to set him up in a way that he jumps back into that corner, and we're just able to continuously knife or stagger him so that it does kill him. And now we are in 5-4. So this is where you find out what kind of time you're going to get in this run. This area, you're just running through waves upon waves of enemies, running past miniguns, archers, everything. And you cannot wait at all. If you stop for a second, you get hit. If you get hit like that, oh my god, I got healed before I get hit again. You generally get hit over and over and over. Got kind of lucky there. Normally the minigun would probably attack me as soon as I healed. And that's the reason why we have so many heals. It's not unusual for a runner to use every single heal they have before they exit this area, just because there's so much damage coming out from every part of the screen. Get out of here. Oh, no.
Yeah, we were talking about run killers. This is the ultimate run killer. Not just because it's tough, but also it's because it's at the very end of the game. Like, you can have a perfect run going, but then the game will just decide to screw you over right here, and run's dead.
So it does take a lot. Like, we talk about, being able to react to every single situation that could present itself in the game. This area just has the most stuff that can happen. So it's being able to quickly recognize, okay, this is what's going on. This is what I need to do to get through, or just like, run a little bit in a different direction or anything like that. So this is like the true test of everything that you've done throughout this run. So you might notice I actually picked up the Killer 7. I didn't talk about it earlier, but this is the Magnum, the most powerful Magnum that you can buy in a new game run. The reason why we buy this is just because it kills enemies instantly. Normally, you would use a striker for that.
Oh, good Mike RNG.
Good Mike. Thank you, Mike. Normally, we would use a striker to kill enemies like that, but sometimes they're going to be too far away, so striker won't hit them. So that's why we use it for this fight. And we actually saw one of the few random things in this chapter happen right now, a really good thing. So our good friend Mike is, running around or flying around, trying to help us out as much as we can. And he can shoot down one of... Oh, nice, we didn't get a crash. He can shoot down one of those 2 towers. The one that we wanted to shoot down was the one that he did. And that way we can jump down immediately. Oh my god, I have so many heals.
Also, rest in peace, Mike.
Right, and then once he does that for us, he saves us a few seconds, so give him a little respect. Rest in peace, Mike. But we gotta get to the end of the game. We're almost at the end now. That was one of the last problematic areas of this game. But we still have a few last screens that do require a little bit of skill to get through. But yeah, that area right there, 5-4 at the start, is just absolutely brutal. Some people they'll just get hit once and then just continue to get hit over and over and over and over the same exact spot using every single heal that they have. So it's really just a matter of, if the game decides if you're going to have a world record, a PB, or anything like that, or if you're just going to have to reset. So this will probably be a good time for donations too, since we're almost at the end.
Sure. We have $10 from Thorbon3, who says, $10 for America. $50 from Anonymous. RE4 is a great game. Keep up the great work. And $50 from Noblies, who says, hello, thanks to everyone participating in this amazing event. Good luck on the runs. Let's get some new world records. Also, can't wait for Dark Souls 2. So this is to Dark Souls 2, 2 players, 1 controller.
Okay, please. Oh. So that was a really bad situation right there with that Plagas falling on the ground. I was hoping that shot actually killed him, so I just ran forward without thinking about it. But yeah, those Plagas, they'll just kill you in one hit. Typically what should have happened there is that the incinerate or the fire barrel that I shot should have pushed him in a completely different direction. And then I just run through with that key card I just collected. But this is one of the few areas that is random throughout this. Okay, there we go. So now he's in there rather than...
And the door stayed open.
And the door stayed open, which is really nice because normally we would have to kick down that door. Oh, nice. And the archer guy's up there,
wow.
too. This is...
What's happening?
This is an amazing... So
It felt bad, I think.
It felt bad after killing me there. But, yeah, getting through this area the fastest just has you maintain Ditman the entire time. So, having that door be open is nice. Typically, there's an archer on the top of that ladder, which would shoot you as soon as you get up there, causing you to lose Ditman and then having to, heal and everything. I have a flash grenade that I'm missing.
Oh, wow.
What the heck? I don't have an extra flash grenade.
You didn't grab the one on the table.
Oh well.
You almost did.
Yeah, you thought about it.
I thought about it, but I was good there. Typically, I would go ahead and flash down there. And ooh, hello.
Do we have time for a quick announcement?
Yes, we do.
I'd just like to announce that we have officially hit $100,000.
Woo! Yeah.
Good job, everyone. Just in time, too. So, yeah, we're almost at the end. Take advantage of being able to tell Ashley to wait and follow to get that guy to attack me rather than the other guy. Okay, good. She's still coming with me. But, yeah, now we're at the end of the game. Just have one last boss to get through and one kind of cool thing to show off to you guys. Okay, I'm not leaving Ashley behind. She's right behind me. All right, so let's make sure I have enough ammo. So here's the final boss of the game. pretty troublesome boss, but we know what makes these guys tick. So it's the main reason why we picked the Killer 7 is because we're able to quickly kill him. Normally we would do a strat with a striker in which we keep knifing him over and over. But with the Killer 7, we're able to shoot him twice and then shoot with a rocket launcher, which causes Ada to throw down the special rocket launcher. And you know how Resident Evil games, they like to give you these special rocket launchers at the end of towards the final bosses. But pretty much that rocket launcher instantly kills him without even needing to hit him. As long as you shoot in the general direction of where he's at, it'll just kill him. I've only missed it ever once. That's because I just wanted to see if I could just shoot the opposite direction and if it would still hit him. Fortunately, it's not the case. So as long as he's on the same screen with you, he'll die to that. So pretty simple boss, especially for a final boss. But we do have a little bit left here.
Coming up is the most important glitch in the game.
This glitch determines if you have a run or if you're just a scrub.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave Ashley there, and we can go ahead and just reload this checkpoint. So everything you've seen with Dead Men so far probably should not come as a surprise for this happening. So for everyone that donated for Jet Ski Glitch, here you go, guys.
Hang on, sweetheart.
Bye, Felicia.
So that's our favorite glitch in the game, the Jet Ski Glitch. As of with Dead Men, the game it doesn't realize that you're moving a lot faster than you really are. So Leon completes his action for starting the jet ski far before he's actually supposed to. And he's able to just take off. And if you actually might have noticed when I did that trick, he actually clipped through the jet ski and Ashley again. That's because he did the flip a lot quicker than the game wants you to.
And to do those flips, all you got to do is hold down L and R. It's really simple. Anyone can do it.
And we're coming up on time. 3, 2, 1, go. Time. And that's Resident Evil 4, everyone.
$1:45.35 was your final time.
Oh, not bad. So just a little over. I know I had a few resets, but that's a pretty good time. The world record for this category on 30 FPS is actually 1:39.24 by myself. But there's also a 60 FPS version, which our good friend Morris on the French restream is doing, which is a 1:37. So we can push this game any further. But yeah, thank you for letting us come out. We're really happy to come out and show this game. And glad we're able to do it for all you guys. So thanks a lot for watching, and have a great night.
Sorry.